People love to say, oh, I love your confidence. But I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all. Sometimes, a lot of times, that, oh, I love your confidence compliment seems to be rooted as a backhanded compliment. I've lost my confidence in believing that what I desire in my heart is attainable. I spent the last couple of years operating in a place of not fully expressing myself and fully, confidently going after my dreams and goals. People want you to shrink. They want you to be a lesser version of yourself. They want you to be less confident with the hopes of them being able to feel bigger, better, and more confident. I truly feel that God made me confident because He knew the spaces that I would have to navigate, the places that I would have to show up in, the way people would perceive me, the battles that I would have to fight. God knew that it would take confidence that cannot be curated, confidence that can only come from Him, only come from within, for me to be strong enough and vulnerable enough to be able to exist in the world, showing up the way that I do. I started to dim the light that was inside of me for the sake of wanting somebody else's light to shine when that ain't my responsibility. This one is for the millennial who is in a space where they are trying to find, rediscover, or apply their confidence to every area in their life. Let's go beneath the seams. Life can be so complex. The human experience is far more expansive than what we can see, and we spend so much time just trying to figure it out. We put on makeup, nice clothing, and we go out into the world trying to hold it all together. When beneath those seams, we are being ripped apart. Some of the ripping is self-inflicted, some of it is because of the pressure of society, but all of it is limiting. Limiting in our quest to just simply be who we truly are. We're more complex than we give ourselves credit for. We fill our brains with popular sayings like, oh, it ain't that serious, loosen up, or just live a little. But life in itself is a deep, non-surface level experience, and sometimes it can be pretty serious. So often we force ourselves to only exist at the surface, never allowing ourselves to be fully exposed. We let the layers pile up until the pressure becomes too much to bear, and then we rip. Sometimes into shreds, and a lot of the times in silence. Beneath means to go below the surface, and seams are what are supposed to keep us joined together. Because we are taught, no matter what, you just have to keep yourself together. We create this image, never letting people in, never going beneath the seams. I don't know if we ever get the answers we expect from life, but I'm starting to find peace in the process of just figuring it out. Instead of forcing the complexities of this human experience to be hidden, let's peel back the layers and go beneath them. Beneath the Seams, a love letter to millennials who are just trying to figure it out. Beneath the Seams, the podcast, now available on all platforms. Welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Seams. I'm your host, Kayla Riggins, and this is the space where we talk about all of the things people don't be wanting to talk about, okay? This is the safe seat. This is the scene seat. So if you are here with me, that means you are my people, and you are ready to get vulnerable. So today, we got to unpack confidence, what it means to have it, what it means to lose it, what it means to embody it. And I want to speak about confidence from 3 different areas of our lives: physical, mental, and spiritual. I think those are the areas where confidence shows up and also disappears the most often in our lives. And so when it comes to physical confidence, yes, we're going to start with physical because we're all shallow human beings. But physical is what we see first. That is the first way that you meet someone, you see them. That is the first thing that attracts you to them. That is the first energy you receive, is their physical appearance. And so when it comes to exuding confidence physically, I have always, y'all my people, I could toot my own horn. I've always been that girl. I've always had a layer of confidence that I know only comes from God. I feel like people often associate confidence with something that you have to figure out how to attain or work on. And that is true. But for me personally, a large percentage of my confidence is what God instilled in me. So physically, when you show up how I do in spaces, people are automatically taken aback by your presence. I'm tall. I'm a big girl. My hair is red. I'm going to have a beat face, might be red lipstick. There is a presence. There is an aura about the way I show up that really exudes confidence. And that's one of the biggest compliments that I get. People love to say, "Oh, I love your confidence." But I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all. Sometimes, a lot of times, that "oh, I love your confidence" compliment seems to be rooted as a backhanded compliment. Because what do you mean? Why do you love it? It almost feels as though you are projecting insecurities that you have, and you can't understand how I can show up the way I do in the body that I'm in the outfit that I'm giving, and still be confident. And so over the years, because like I said, I've been getting this compliment all my life. Now, I want to preference this by saying I do think that most people are genuine. Y'all know my philosophy by now. I try to live my life from an optimistic perspective. I try not to think everything is evil. Oh my God, the world is out to get me. So I try to see the positive in all things. But we're human beings, and we're all having a human experience, and everything and everybody ain't positive. And so when you think about that statement, "oh, I love your confidence," to me, it just always seems like the undertones of that is, wow, how could she feel so good about herself when she looks like that? And I'm struggling to feel good about myself when I have more of an ideal body, an ideal shape, an ideal face. I don't know. My face card never declines. Can't relate. But I understand how some people may be struggling in certain areas. And so when it comes to my personal confidence, I remember always having it physically. I just have always thought I was that girl. Like, I really don't know what else to say. When it comes to getting dressed and presenting well, those things have always been important to me. My mama used to bring a towel, a face towel, y'all, a washcloth to the car when we got ready for school in the morning, because she said that she needed to make sure the crust was out of my eyes in God's light. She said the light in the house wasn't given. She needed to see it in God's light. And so this sense of always being put together, always expressing well physically, is something that was embedded in me. My mama was the type of woman, you could smell her perfume in her aura when she walked into a room. When she left, I'm saying was as if she ain't still that girl. She very much still is that girl. But she is the type of woman where, growing up, there was a scent attached to her. Like, I knew at the daycare when mama was there because I smelled her perfume. And when she left, the scent still lingered. And so being well put together is something that was taught to me, but also something that I feel like God gave me in a sense of knowing the tools that I would need to have to enter into combat into this world. Because that's what it is. When you show up like me, you are constantly in a state of combat. You walk into rooms and people don't like you because you showed up. They don't like you because you showed up confidently. I remember back in my corporate era, I was working at, do I want to say the name of the company? Girl, we say the name of the company, okay? This is my life and my salvation. I was working at BET, and it was such a traumatizing experience for me, if I'm being honest. Especially because you walk into these spaces and you think, oh, Wakanda, I'm finally with my people. And then it turns out to be a terrible experience where you actually think you're going to be embraced, where you don't have to shrink, right? Where you can stand in the full confidence of who you are. Whereas in other white corporate spaces, you find yourself walking in with a mask on. So I get to BET and I'm thinking, oh, we all finna be ourselves. Child, them people hated my guts. People would like whisper behind my back, or certain things would be said like, why she get so dressed up every day? Why she putting on makeup every day just to come to work? And I think that one of the things that people don't realize is that I was very sure of myself at a very early age. Now, while I'm still figuring it out, we all are, you never stop that. I knew who I was and the power that I possessed in just being who I am sooner than most. I was always a little bit more mature. I'm an only child, and I'm an only child of a single parent. So by virtue of that experience alone, you spend a lot of time with yourself and with adults. And so there's a level of maturity that comes with that. And I just always knew who I was, and I exude that. I don't have to open my mouth when I walk into a room and people feel my energy. And so at BET, I watched my mama go to work putting on lipstick. My mama would take one tube of lipstick and she gonna paint her whole face. She gonna do her lips. Y'all know how the old school, the old school classy ladies do, okay? I watched her spray her perfume. She had a dresser full. That's why I have a dresser full. And I just watched her pay attention to the details of how she looked when she went out into the world. And so that was a part of when I viewed getting up to go to work, I thought about how my mama looked when she would get up to go to work. And so work for me wasn't just, oh, this thing that we're doing to pass the time. I feel like as a lot of millennials, because this happened in other friend groups too, people roll out of bed 30 minutes before they got to leave the house. They throw on whatever. And that's fine. Like whatever your style is, have your style. But my wish in life is for everybody to be them and for me to be allowed to be me. So if I want to get dressed up and come to work, let me do that. But baby, they had a problem with that. It was a lot of who she thinks she is, just very out of place, very much an experience where I shrunk because of the people around me, and my confidence was questioned. I started to question whether or not the way I expressed was coming off wrong or hurting other people. I started to dim the light that was inside of me for the sake of wanting somebody else's light to shine when that ain't my responsibility. You got to figure out how to turn your own light on. You got to do your own work. And so that was the BET experience. And so now one of the biggest compliments, like I said, people always say, I love your confidence. People are very taken aback by my presence. And I laugh because for me, I didn't realize that it was a superpower until people started to make it seem, people started to point it out so much that that's when it started to seem odd. I'm like, oh, everybody don't feel this way? Oh, like you don't view yourself as so confident? Like, I'm not understanding. And so the world will point out things in you that make you start to question certain things about you. That's why you got to be so grounded and secure in yourself. And so now what's sparking this conversation, one of my really good friends, Shar, she's always so expressive about our friendship and how grateful she is for it. And she always says, you know, you've always just kept it real. I've always felt safe around you, and I've always felt like I could be myself around you. So Shar, I actually met at BET, and she was the only one who was solid. The rest of them hoes was hating on me. And Shar was solid. And so we stayed in touch and we stayed friends over the years. And now we both live in Atlanta together. And so she's just always very expressive. And I appreciate her so much. She's always very expressive with her gratitude for the friend that I am to her and me holding space for her. And so we were having this conversation and I was sharing with her. I had a phone conversation and the person was saying to me, so this was a person who I met out and about, and I'm trying to like be careful because I want to protect the, not so much the identity, but the way that I have respect for these people. But listen, we going beneath the seams or not. Okay. So, there's this woman who I respect. I met her out. She is going to be a potential client of mine. And so we were catching up. I was hearing about more of some of the things that she had been working on. And so she tells me, she was like, you know, I'm really excited to get to work with you. She was like, the way you position yourself, the way you have branded yourself, the way you present, it's just so confident. Now I hear that all the time. So I'm like, thank you. You know, I appreciate that. But what she said made me understand confidence from a whole nother level. She said, you are so confident, it makes me comfortable. I said, oh, you know, I love a wordsmith. I love when people have a way of putting words together where it paints a beautiful picture. She said, you're so confident, it makes me comfortable. Now, I'm so used to the opposite. I'm so used to my confidence making other people uncomfortable because it's like, how dare she feel so good about herself? So when she said that, I said, thank you. Like, I really appreciate that. That's probably the nicest way anyone has ever put that. Me just being me and being unapologetic and secure in who I am helps you be more comfortable to be you. And she said, yeah, she said, when I'm around you, I don't have to sugarcoat. I don't have to hold back. I can just be myself. And I really appreciated that because I feel like a part of my confidence being a part of my superpower is God given. I feel like God gave me that so that I can help other people unlock their confidence and see the things that they may be suppressing or shrinking within themselves and really just be out here unhinged, being yourself. And so as soon as she let it out, we had a great moment. We're at a 10. And then shortly after that, she took it down to a 2. Now, again, this is a person who I have great respect for. I think she's a great person. And I don't think people mean things with the intentionality that it comes across. I think her heart posture was in the right place. And so then she says, because, some of these big girls on the internet, I said, here we go. Here we go. In my mind, I'm like, here we go. Here we go. She said, some of these big girls on the internet, they like saying, oh, I'm big and I don't care. And they be rah, rah, rah about being big and being confident. But they be faking. Like, they don't actually believe it. With you, like, I believe it. Like, it comes across. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, here we go. Another conversation where my confidence is being associated with my size. And there is an exception being taken because of my size. To me, that statement implies that the confidence that you see is still associated with my size. And again, that's just something that I never saw myself the way the world sees me. I never saw myself as, ooh, I'm confident because I'm a big girl, or because I'm big, I'm going to make sure I'm extra confident. Because I'm big, I'm going to make sure I dress the part, look the part, do my hair, do my makeup. This is not me playing dress up. This is genuinely who I am. At any size, I would be this girl. And so sometimes it's hurtful that people see you and that's what they see first. And it's sometimes hurtful that your confidence is always associated with your weight, you having it or you not having it. And so I was talking to my friend Shar about that experience, and I was just venting to her, and I'm like, is that all people see when they see me? Like, do you really think that I have to do extra work to feel good about myself because of the body that I live in? Like, it's absolutely insane to me. So that's the experience that I've been having with the physical piece. I'm a human being. Are there days where I'm pulling on my clothes and I'm like, this don't fit right, this ain't giving? Absolutely. Are there days when I don't feel the best in my body? For sure. But my confidence is not associated with that. I truly, in my heart, believe that my aura and my spirit and my energy is a vibe. And so me putting on clothes, me putting on makeup is an expression of that inner vibe from within. I get dressed and look good on the outside because I feel good on the inside. I walk into a room like I'm that girl and I'm put together because in the inside, I feel like I'm that girl. And it's so funny because y'all know content is my thing. Personal branding. It's what I do for work. It's what I'm currently doing right now as you listen to and watch this. And so it's so interesting because my friends are always like, or just people in general, Kayla, your pictures, your angles. People are always like, what camera you used? What's the lighting? What is that, a filter? What angle is this? Like, people are always asking all of these questions about the photo or the video. And I'd be like, baby, it's me. It is the subject. You see the material? Now, sure, lighting helps. Angles help. A good camera helps, right? The quality of the phone that you may be taking the photo on helps. But the subject, the sauce, is me. So we got to go, thank God, baby, okay? I need y'all to, what is, your pictures, they're just always so cute because it's me. And that's not to be cocky or overly confident, but I think we have to go back to the source. God made me like this. I look good in the picture because it's me in the picture. What's that lyric? Beyonce be like, all these clothes look so good because I'm in that hoe or something like that. It's like, baby, it ain't the outfit, it's the person wearing it. Like, I am the subject. And so that's another thing that always sticks out to me when it comes to the physical part of being confident. Now let's take a step back and let's go to the spiritual. I think, as I touched on, a lot of my physical, a lot of the way I exude my confidence physically is directly tied to my spirituality, and my spirit. I think that I say this all the time. I feel like God gives us exactly what we need to survive in our environment. God gives every little thing what it needs to survive out in its natural habitat. For human beings, our natural habitat is the world. So I feel like God gives us each other because we need each other to survive. But I also feel like certain characteristics, certain attributes, those things that are unique and special about you, God gives you those things so that you can survive out in combat, combat being the world. And I truly feel that God made me confident because he knew the spaces that I would have to navigate, the places that I would have to show up in, the way people would perceive me, the battles that I would have to fight. God knew that it would take confidence that cannot be curated, confidence that can only come from him, only come from within, for me to be strong enough and vulnerable enough to be able to exist in the world, showing up the way that I do. And that's physically and mentally. I am on assignment. We all are. And I know that my voice is a part of my power. And that is what also makes me confident, knowing that I have the ability to use my voice to create impact, to help people. That's for working purposes, but that's also in my personal life. I don't take it for granted that people view me as a good friend, that people come to me for advice, that people value my opinion. All of that is tied to the confidence that was instilled in me at birth, in the makings of the womb. When God was cooking up them ingredients, and he was like, okay, we're going to make her tall, a little 5'9". We're going to give her a little mole right here. You see the material, And he was like, okay, all right, that's her physical. Now let's see what I got to put in my girl for her to be able to survive on earth. He was like, okay, she got to be smart. She's a scholar. Okay, she's going to have to be super confident. He throwing it in the pot. She's going to need confidence that only I can give her to really be able to go through and manage and navigate life with the depth that she is going to experience. I experience life very deeply, and I think there's a certain level of vulnerability and confidence that comes with that experience. And so that's the spiritual piece. I think I have also really been in a space where I am understanding that faith is tied to your spiritual confidence. The more you start to believe in God, believe in yourself, and believe in what's possible, your confidence is increased. In the physical, you gain confidence by doing. And so for a trivial example, I put a nice outfit together and I'm like, oh, I did that. That makes me more confident. In a more serious scenario, you start a business and you scale that business to 6 figures. That's doing. That makes you more confident. You get someone a result and you're like, okay, I did that. Spiritually, when you increase your faith, and this is the journey that I'm on, when you really start to get closer to understanding who God is and the plan that he has for us, it makes you more spiritually confident. It increases your faithfulness. And as a result, it increases your belief in self. So while physically, I've been confident always, spiritually, my confidence is something that I know I have struggled with. And I'm very intentional. I pray about this for asking God for the spiritual confidence to come to him always, to yearn to know more about who he is, to be in communion with him. Because when I do that work, I notice that my confidence increases in all other areas. And in the spiritual realm, I feel a closer connection to God and to the work that I'm doing and to the experience that I'm having. I like to have earthly experiences that expand my consciousness. That's why I like to sit down and have these types of conversations. That is some of the meaning behind this podcast. Sometimes, again, this ain't for everybody. I get it. Sometimes people are like, girl, that's too deep. You too serious. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, great. I'm not for you. But for those of us who experience life on a deeper level, who feel things a little more than other people, it's important for us to have a recollection of this experience. And for me, that means expanding your consciousness, just being more aware about the experience that you're having in your life. And when I do the work of digging deeper spiritually, it enhances and grows my spiritual confidence. And as a result, I'm more physically confident. I'm more mentally confident. And so if you are somewhere in your journey where you're trying to figure out, maybe you've lost your confidence, maybe you had it and you know exactly who you are, but there are certain elements, certain people, certain environments that have kind of taken that experience away from you or made you shrink in that experience. I encourage you to, all things start with the creator. I encourage you to just go back to your creator, whoever you believe in, and your higher power, to discover and rediscover those things about you that you may be suppressing that really are connected and directly tied to who you're supposed to be to fulfill your purpose and how you're supposed to show up in the world. I can confidently say that me even being able to communicate that, articulate that the way I just did is living proof of what's possible when you seek the answers. I used to feel frustrated and flustered with myself because I struggled with my faith. I wanted to believe more in God and in myself. And I had to realize that my confidence is directly tied to the spiritual side of being faithful. To be confident is to increase your faithfulness in what your higher power is able to do for you. So to be honest with you, I'm just proud of the moment that just passed, because I can't say that this time last year, I had that understanding. I had that consciousness of how confidence is also tied to your faith and your spirituality. Now, when it comes to the mental piece of confidence, remember, I told you we was going to break this down into 3 groups: physical, spiritual, and mental. The mental piece of confidence, they all are tied and connected to each other. But mental confidence for me is being able to have tenacity, being able to be steadfast and have fortitude in the midst of lifing. The mental fortitude that it takes, especially when you're a person who has vision, when you are a person who has, it's more than goals. When you're a person who has spiritual, and it's a word that I'm looking for that it just won't come to me right now. But when you're someone where your entire being is in everything that you do, like it's more than just work for you, it's more than just friendships for you, it's more than just creating content for you. When you're a type of person like where your soul is tied to how you show up in your existence in every single thing that you do here on earth, the mental confidence, the mental toughness that you have to continue to push forward when life becomes challenging, when life has those difficult times, to me, you work on that the most by continuing to do. Every time you have faced something that you were afraid of, something that you were unsure about, once you did it, you had no problem going back to it. And that's why I continue to show up and do the work. I fall off, I fall short. I'm a human being. But there's something in me where I always get back up again. And I think that is the mental confidence. I always like to say, we all know that the movie is going to end. The movie in life, it's going to end, right? Nobody gets out alive. But I want to at least see how the movie turns out. And if we yell cut right now and we stop, what kind of ending is that? What type of who would go see that movie? Who would enjoy that? And so I feel like I owe it to myself to try. I feel like I owe it to myself to consistently show up so that I can see how the movie turns out. And that mental confidence, I get better and better when I accomplish and when I do. And sometimes doing is the small action steps that you could take today. Like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying, oh, you got to, launch a successful business. And that's by doing that is when you become more confident. Girl, sometimes I'm more confident mentally because I pushed past wanting to stay in bed today. I got out of bed and I recorded. I got out of bed and I sent some proposals. I reached out to some brands. I followed up with some people. Those small things add to your mental confidence as well. So when I say doing, I don't necessarily mean doing the most. And that's a lot coming from me because I always do the most. But I don't mean like, oh, you have to do these big tasks. So often I feel like we associate getting things accomplished with it being big. It's those small things that equal up to those big things. So the more you do, put one foot in front of the other, the more mentally confident you will become. One of my favorite people, I just love her so much. I see so much of myself in her, and I just feel like she's so misunderstood. She's been very popular in the news cycle over the past few weeks now. Amanda Seales. And if you saw her club, I was finna be shady because I don't really like that man platform. We going beneath the scenes? Okay. I can't believe I'm about to tell y'all this. I can tell y'all a little bit of my business. Y'all not gonna judge. So when I'm texting my friends, and I only watch when the draw is somebody that I enjoy or something just goes super viral and you can't help but to watch. But I don't consume his platform. God bless him. Wish him well. But, not for me. Just like this is not for everybody. But so I be texting my friends and I was like, did you see Amanda on Club Slow Slow? I be calling that man Slow Slow. But anyway, that's me, y'all. But, something, whatever. I just don't like the interview style. But anyway, let me stay focused. So Amanda was on Club Shay Shay. Mm-hmm. And there are so many different things to unpack in that conversation. But one that really stood out to me is when she said, people don't want you to be full of yourself. You should be full of yourself because who else are you going to be filled up with? That I saw her so much more. I've always been a fan of her, but in that statement, I'm like, girl, yes, people want you to shrink. They want you to be a lesser version of yourself. They want you to be less confident with the hopes of them being able to feel bigger, better, and more confident. When that's not how confidence works. Confidence is not something that you can pull from other people. If I'm smaller, that does not make you bigger. It has to be inner work. So I love how she said, you got to be full of yourself because if you're not, then who will be? To me, it was just a very, y'all know I love a wordsmith, scholarly way and a very cultural way too, because being full of yourself is not a new term. It's not a new phrase, but I love the way she turned something that people deem negative, like, oh, she's so full of herself, and made us see it from a perspective of positivity, from a perspective of reassurance, and from a perspective of confidence. Me being full of myself is a reflection of my confidence. I think people are attracted to my energy and my presence because there's a level of reassurance that people feel when I walk into a room or when they encounter me. Like, I be chilling, just doing me. And the reason for that, y'all, is I'm so busy trying to figure out my own life. I genuinely don't have the time or the capacity because I'm over here in the deep depths of my own journey, I don't really have the capacity to overthink about what anyone else has going on unless it's I'm helping you. You know what I mean? I always have capacity to help you. I will always be there for you. But I don't have the capacity to be negative or, be nitpicky or try to make someone be anything other than who they are, because I'm spending all my time doing the work to try to consistently, confidently exude and be who I authentically am in every aspect of my life. And that keeps me busy. So I don't got time to be trying to knock you from being you. I got to put all of my energy into being me. So I just like how she shared that. If you ain't seen the interview, go watch it. I watched all 3 hours. It was great, but I understand that might not be the content for everybody. But I really, really enjoyed that statement about being full of yourself. It added a totally different perspective. So now that we've touched on the different areas of confidence, spiritual, physical, and mental, I want to talk about how having confidence, losing it, and finding it again all ties into the experience. When you have confidence, there's a layer of it that I believe that is innately within you, that is innately in all of us. I think the world has a way of helping you lose it because you show up into different spaces, and from the time you're 5 years old, you're told that certain things about you are not good. I was the little girl who came home with the checklist from school. Kayla talks too much. And now look at what Kayla does for a living. Talk. Right? I create content. I talk. I express myself. And that is how I get clients, partnerships. That is how I attract people to me. But my kindergarten teacher let her tell it that was a negative attribute. That was a negative characteristic. Me talking too much. Kayla's bossy. Me being assertive. Me being a leader. Those are things that I feel should be cultivated instead of shunned in children in particular. And so when I think about having it already, because at 5 years old, you are who you are, probably the most authentically when you're a kid. Then you go into the world and little by little, they chip away at it. This is wrong. Don't do that. Don't wear this. Don't say that. And sure, some behavior needs to be corrected. But fundamentally, I feel we would all be more confident adults if some of those behaviors were embraced and enhanced instead of shunned away or told don't do that or that's wrong. And so you have it and then you lose it because of the world. And then finding it again is the best experience of it all, because I've been at all of those phases and stages. And I think being in a stage of finding it again, and I know y'all might be like, well, girl, what you mean you finding it again? You just said you that girl. And I am. But what I mean is there is ebbs and flows, right? And so in finding it again, I'm in a stage where I spent the last couple of years operating in a place of not fully expressing myself and fully, confidently going after my dreams and goals. I took a back seat to building my own personal brand and going after speaking engagements and podcasting and just things that I love to do, things that I feel like I'm called to do, the things that I feel like my voice and my message is meant to, have impact. I took a back seat from those things because I started to equate my value with my ability to serve other people in the form of running a business. And I realized that there is value in me simply being who I am, the way I speak, the way I express myself, the way I experience joy, the way I love people, the way I dress, the way I walk into a room, my aura, my energy, my vibe, my soul, you can see it. And there is value in that. And so that's the journey that I'm on. I want you to know the same about you. Who you are, what you are, and what you got going on right now is enough. And there's value in that. And so in finding my confidence again, it's not so much that I lost it physically. Spiritually, that's always a work in progress. And mentally, I'm in a journey of finding my confidence again to go after exactly what I want in a way that is unhinged. I was looking back on some blog posts of mine from 2012, 2014. Girl, I was outside in the snow in New York City with a tripod, okay? Self-shooting because I wanted to blog. I wanted to create content. That's what I mean when I say finding my confidence again, because that girl was confident. She was unhinged. She was unapologetic and serious about what she wanted. And if I'm being honest, over the past couple of years, I've lost my way. I've lost my confidence in believing that what I desire in my heart is attainable. And that's the season that I'm in when it comes to my mental and spiritual confidence. And it's the best season to be in because it's so freeing. Once you have that mindset shift and you realize, I don't want to do this. I've known for a while that I don't want to do this. And I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to make the sacrifices to really go after what I want. Your vision starts to change. The world starts to open up to you. You start to see your vision in actuality more than ever. And that's why I'm having such a fun, fulfilling time in this space, because this right here, this podcast is a part of that vision. And so I just have to commit and submit. And that's a part of me rebuilding my own confidence in this season. And so that brings me to, y'all know our show. We're going to have like segments and stuff. You know, the TV producer and me can't help but to make it a show. I want to have this portion of the show where I just share, and I want you guys to as well, no matter how in depth we go, no matter how sad we may feel, happy we may feel, I want to be in a spirit of practicing gratitude. And so I want to add a portion to the show. I don't know what to name it. Y'all tell me. Y'all like, here we go again. I would love to have a portion of the show where I just talk about what I'm enjoying in life right now. And I want you guys to tell me in the comments too. So no matter what's going on, I want to know, what are you enjoying? What's the one thing you are enjoying about life right now? And for me, the one thing that I am enjoying about life right now is the fact that at any moment, at any time, I have the ability, the power, and the confidence to switch the switch and turn everything around. At any given moment, I can change whatever is not working. I can go after things that I have let fall by the wayside. I am enjoying in life right now the free will that I have to go after what I want. And I hope that resonates with you. No matter what is going on in your life right now, you have the power to change all of that shit around. And that is what I'm enjoying the most. It's like, what Glorilla say? Might be broke as hell today, might be rich as tomorrow. It's that energy. Like, no matter what happens today, no matter what happened yesterday, I have the power to turn everything around. And that is what I am really enjoying about life right now, as I find my way back to a different layer and new heights of being confident. Okay, so a couple of episodes ago, I asked you guys to vote in the comments about what I would call the comment section. And so we got a couple of names: Kayla's Comment Corner, Beneath the Comments. I think Beneath the Comments is in the winning right now, but I'm still not 100% sold. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think I should call the portion where I either read a question or a comment from the previous week's episode. So while I pull up this week's comment, y'all do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. That is how I know that you're resonated with this. That helps more than you think it does. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please take a moment to rate and leave me a review. And if you are watching on YouTube, like the video, share it, drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this episode. Ask me your questions. This is our community. This is our experience. We go beneath the scenes together. So I want to make sure that I am including you guys in the conversation. I'm so happy to be finding my community. And so, yeah, if you see yourself as being a part of the community too, baby, leave a comment because I want to talk to you. Okay. So last week's episode was Confessions of a Strong Friend, how to navigate adult friendships. And the comment that I want to read is from, let's see, her name is Michelle Cook, or it could be Mitchell. Mitchell Cook? Michelle Cook? I'm not really sure. That actually looks like Mitchell. But the comment says, your setup and quality is perfection. If you keep making content, I know you're going to build such a strong community. And I received the prophecy over my life, okay? I responded and said, thank you. I receive it. I hope you are a part of, I hope to have you a part of that strong community. And that comment stood out to me so much because, as you guys know, I'm on this journey of really submitting to what I want. And I really want to build something here with podcasting, with hosting, but also more intentionally with creating these types of conversations that expand our consciousness and help us be our true selves and help us be better people, better to ourselves, better to the people around us, and have just a better experience of life. And so I feel so connected to that work. So for someone to say something like that to me, it is the evidence of the work that I'm doing with my confidence to put this out there and to continuously show up. So thank you so much for leaving that comment. I cannot wait to read y'all's next week. Okay, so go ahead and leave your comment right now. All right, y'all. So that will do it for this episode of Beneath the Seams. Listen, wherever you are in your journey, whether you are working on your confidence spiritually, mentally, physically, or all three of them, my wish for you, my prayer for you is that you simply find peace in the process of figuring it out. See you guys next time.